When we think of outer space, many of us are in awe of its beauty and wonder. The great unknown, a final frontier. The vast majority of us aren't astrophysicists, astronomers, or planetary scientists. But how do they feel about the alien hypothesis and the study of ufology?
My name is Joalda Morancy. I currently work as an aerospace engineer at Blue Origin, where I test avionics for our lunar lander program. And I recently graduated from Chicago doing a degree in astrophysics, and also kind of focusing on like planetary science as well. In all technical terms, UFOs do exist just by the nature of their name. Many things are in the sky that we don't understand. When it comes to whether it's intelligent alien life, I'm more on the hesitant side to like say it's aliens or not. A lot of scientists will like usually say when there's like a UFO sighting or like with all these balloons, they'll usually say it's never aliens, which I, for the most part, agree with. I don't think that will always be our defense. Knowing how big this universe is, to think that we're like the only living things that have evolved, there has to be something out there for sure. Whether or not there's like intelligent life in our own solar system, I don't think we're at that point. I have a good feeling that intelligent life exists somewhere, though I feel like they're in a very similar situation to us, where they either just don't have the technology to like reach us in some shape or form. So if there was intelligent life far deep into the universe in a different galaxy, depending on like how far they are, what they will see of Earth and like our solar system may be wildly different from what's currently happening. Maybe things have evolved, we just don't know. Which is why I think aliens choosing to visit our solar system is like a kind of a unique possibility, only because like to my knowledge there's not too much that's special about our own solar system that would, I guess, have them choose us versus somewhere else.
So, not out of the realm of possibility, but not quite an alien invasion either. As Joalda mentioned, there's just so much unknown about intergalaxy travel. But what is known about air travel?
It's a great mixing of kind of science and art. My name is Tom Stout. I'm a captain with the world's largest commercial airline. 40 years I started when I was 19. Flying basically is it's a sense of leaving this kind of crazy world, and you're up and you have a great view. You're always worried about something getting in your way. You know, you got to keep an open mind. There might be something out there.
Keeping an open mind seems to be a theme heavily adopted by those who work in the field of aviation, space, and the unexplained. I wonder if that means everyone has a story or has heard a story about the possibilities of life outside our own, or at the very least, a UFO.
I've never for myself seen anything, but there's a lot of time in the cockpit when you're at cruise and you get a chance to kind of talk to the pilot next to you. And at that time, someone can bring something up if they've seen something in the news or something that they've heard of or a friend of them saw. So, there's a story or two out there. I think my initial reaction on that, as my prior background in the military, is that it's some kind of a military program that folks just don't know about and won't know about for many years, that just happens to show up that day.
You can't talk much about UFOs, UAPs, and ufology in general without mentioning the military.
There's a whole fleet of them. Look on the ASA. My gosh. They're all going against the wind. The wind's 120 knots from the west.
After the termination of Project Blue Book, the military took a back seat to its importance in the matter. However, recent declassification of naval aviation logs, the military has invested itself back into the alien hypothesis.
Well, if there's a thing, it's rotating.
A December issue of the New York Times, where some New York Times reporters were given access to some military videos. They had never been released before, actually, and they weren't officially released until a few years later by Pentagon. It led to Congress setting up the AARO, which is the Department of Defense agency that is now looking into UFOs. Since the Chinese balloon fiasco, the military has said that they are recalibrating their radars to be able to pick up objects like that. Most people would have an attitude of the military. If they're collecting UFO reports, it's only going to be for their own use and they're not going to release anything. And that is kind of backed up by the fact that the last report didn't really say very much. Well, maybe they don't know that much yet because it's an ongoing investigation. But the impression that most people get from the government is that they may know something, but they're not going to tell you much.
We're operating in uncharted areas with the modern study of ufology. With the conception of the AARO, All-Dominion Anomaly Resolution Office, under the Department of Defense, things might change in terms of the science, transparency, and skepticism that comes from the government and UFOs.
Disbelief was the first thing. Okay, maybe we're not the only ones around.